Hey y'all, this is all dry, and I found out something else again last night, and I'm going to be sanding on this in the meantime. That you can use a brown paper bag as an FYI. This is about equivalent to 400 grit sandpaper, and so it's going to be a very, gentle, light sand to get any of these rough areas that I maybe left too much on off. Let me see if I can tilt this up for you to see. Is 8 foot tall. See, it ends up there, and it's actually another 4 feet before you reach the 12 foot total of our ceilings, and it's 10 foot wide. On the other side of this wall is a 10 by 10 room that was as a massage room whenever it was built. My husband warned me not to put this mud on too thick, or the joint compound, also known as mud, on here too thick, because it normally is intended to go on bare drywall. And this is a painted wall, obviously, and it could have adhesion issues. So I'm like, it's made for that, surely it will. And, of course you can buy more expensive ones that are particularly made just for faux wall projects, but instead of $8 for the the gallon pail, you're probably going to be paying $30 or $40. So I'm being an El Chico, and we'll see what happens. And I'm not going to put it on too thick, but I've about decided I'm going to wait and do that because we're going to be building up layers to create more interest on this. I'm going to get this base coat of the paint on here first, and then come back and do the details next week. Okay, pour that out. Here's the paint. Also couldn't find a paint stir stick, and I'm not gonna, yesterday I used this huge stick of bamboo, which is a little bit ridiculous, but that's what I started stirring the paint with, because that's what I had that was deep enough. And today I found this old piece of furniture. I think it was a pool, actually, and it appears to be deep enough, so that's what we're gonna stir the paint with. And it is, hoping that you can, it's very chunky. It definitely has to be stirred. So what I'm gonna do first is cut in around that top piece of molding and get all those edges. That way whenever I start rolling, I can get pretty close to that without worrying about bumping into it, because there'll already be paint there. And then for cutting in, I'm gonna put it in this little mug. I have this little, we call these boats in the restaurant industry. This is called a boat. And I'm afraid of heights, and I'm shaky. I had a soda at lunch, and I never drink those things because I can't handle caffeine. And here I am, all shaky, fixing to get on a ladder, scared of heights and everything else. So y'all get a good laugh on me if something crazy happens. I can't breathe thinking about it. I'm going to start in that corner over there. Thank you for the thumbs up. I'm being brave. I'm anxious to see how much coverage I get from this. It's not a whole lot different than what I have up there already. But if I had that angled brush, that little cub, it would be much easier to get across that edge without having to pull my brush straight. If you didn't have a chalky style paint for this, what we use in our own house is we always use Sherwin-Williams, because it is very high quality paint. Even on a fancy finish on a piece of furniture, you got to do that base coat. You got to do the prep and the base coat and all the parts that aren't as exciting. And I know that sometimes whenever, you know, I'm trying to watch and learn a new finish from somebody, I wonder what they did with the base coat parts, what they did before I started watching. So I figured I would, for those of you who are going to join me and do a fun accent wall, figured I would just share the whole dang thing. Now I gotta move my ladder and get back up here to do that one little piece. Jules laughing at me. I am shaking in my boots that ain't on. Shaking in my bare feet. Sometimes, you know, these paints, chalky style paints, are so thick that we wouldn't think of putting them on the wall or rolling them on and things like that. And that's kind of, you know, part of what I wanted to show this time too, was that you definitely, and here, this is the, I'm at the outer corner. There's no need in really doing that because I'll be able to roll and the roller will be out here and not getting on anything. It's not taking much paint. Y'all saw what little bit I put in this cup earlier. Also, the sort of matte finish that you get with your chalky style paints is very forgiving of divots and holes and things like that. It doesn't show as much. If this was a shiny finish, anything more than eggshell, which is sort of like a satin, then the shinier it is, it doesn't show as many fingerprints, but it shows more holes and divots and bumps and ribs and things like that. So this wall already had a little bit of not quite what they would call orange peel texture, which is just, if you could imagine the peeling on an orange, how bumpy it is. That's pretty textured, but this is pretty close to an orange peel that's on here already. I'm tall enough to use this from the floor and not have to get on the ladder with the roller. This is a disposable set. We usually have, you know, from the construction business, we have very good rollers that you actually wash out and reuse, and pans and pan liners and all that kind of stuff. But oh, you can definitely tell this thing is cheap. Man, hope I don't live to regret this. Make sure there's no fur gonna come out of it on my stuff. We shall see. But you can see there, I haven't really used much of anything on this beginning part. When you do the roller to meet where you cut in with the brush, it doesn't always look the same because the thickness of the amount of paint on the brush versus the thickness and texture of the roller. I can't get it all the way up there, but it usually evens out once the paint dries, so don't, you know, let that panic you or anything. Slow down, because this is where you get in a hurry and you get it on your molding in the corner, trying to do your last swipe. Okay, so that's it for today. And this will be dry and hopefully looking smooth whenever I get back, and we'll do some of the decorative parts. Thanks for watching. Bye.